Hello, everyone. Welcome. And today is Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. And as always, I have to say it wherever you are, whether you're listening live or on the replay, thank you very much. You are much appreciated. Very appreciated. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day here in sunny, coolish California. Hey, Brina, welcome. Frankie, welcome. And as always, I gotta upload my song here, so give me a moment. Make sure I get the right one here. There we go. Hey, crazy, how are you? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so today, this show may go in a different couple ways, and just so you guys know, when I said, hey Minnesota, hey Lou, welcome. When I said, when defendants are victims, should victims have a victim statement? What I meant was, the people who are innocent. Um, and I have three particular cases I'm gonna try to fit in, today to talk about. But you know, I've been on the side, as y'all know, last week talking about how you don't do the crime. If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime, blah 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 blah. But what about the defendants who are innocent? So do the ones that are innocent and they've spent time in prison, even if they were just in jail for one night, but you have people who are innocent who have spent time in prison, um and they were innocent. So the first case I want to bring up is, hold on for a second, is, well, before I bring up this particular case, I also want to say that, and I'm not going there, y'all, so don't worry, I'm not going there, but I am going to say this: there are people who are defendants who are innocent for being accused of things that they didn't do. And sometimes it leads to um, them spending time in prison. Sometimes it leads to murder. Murder, I mean, people like Emmett Till. You have Karens out there who want to hate Till, who blame innocent people. There are all kinds of of defendants out there, but this particular case I want to bring up happened in Chicago to a man by the name of Gary Dotson. Okay, he was accused of rape, and he spent 8 years in prison. Okay, he went to prison in 1979. It was a huge case because Gary Dotson was the first defendant to be proven innocent through DNA. So he's the first person the DNA was first used. And if anyone is familiar with the case, it made all the headlines. Everybody was talking about Kathleen Crowell's panties because the prosecution put her underwear on the overhead screen. They were doing overheads at the time. And you saw this semen stain that supposedly belonged to Gary Dotson. But Kathleen Crowell was 16 years old, and she made up a rape allegation to explain to her foster parents her pregnancy concerns so she could obtain contraception after having consensual sex with her boyfriend the previous day. She recanted in 1985, but no one would believe her. In 1977, a police officer saw her standing beside a road, not far from a shopping mall in a Chicago suburb. She had worked at Long John Silver's, and her clothing was dirt stained and in disarray. She tearfully told the police officer that she walked across the mall parking lot. A car with 3 young men ran towards her. 2 of the men jumped out, grabbed her, and threw her into the back seat. One of them climbed in beside her. The other joined the driver in front. The man in the back tore her clothes, raped her, and scratched several letters onto her stomach with a broken beer bottle. We're going to get to the scratches. She was taken to a suburb. Rape exam was performed, and she identified Gary Dotson. But according to her, in 1985, when she recanted, she was under pressure because the police based his mugshot on a composite sketch of someone that she described. But when they picked up Dotson, there were no sign of scratches that Kathleen Crowell said that she had scratched him, and the person she described had a smooth shaven face, but Gary Dotson had a mature mustache. Okay. All of a sudden she found Jesus. Okay. In 1981, she found Jesus, and she married her high school classmate and moved to New Hampshire. Gary Dotson's in prison in Chicago. But in 1985, she was feeling all kinds of guilt, whatever. So she told her pastor what she had done. Pastor told her to go and recant. She did, but no one would believe her. So they petitioned the governor. And they were like, no. So finally, because of the media, the trial judge released Gary Dotson on a $100,000 bond, but he would have another trial, which found him guilty because the jury did not believe Kathleen Crowell's recantation. He went back to prison. Gary Dotson went back and forth to prison over this rape charge, until he was finally found innocent through the DNA from these famous panties. Now, that scratching on her stomach that supposedly those men did to her, that man Gary Dotson did to her, she did that herself. She scratched those letters into her stomach herself. Now, all this because she had had sex with her boyfriend, thought she may get pregnant, and wanted to get birth control. All of this. So Gary Dotson was finally released in 1988. He didn't get a full pardon until 2002. Hey, Shorty. Hey, Blunt. So this is where I say, should defendants have victim statements because they were victims? So the next case, Janine Nicario, again, a Chicago suburb, 9 years old. I'm sorry, I always pronounce her name wrong. Janine Nicario. 9 years old, didn't feel well. Her mother kept her home from school. Her mom went out to do some grocery shopping, left 9-year-old Janine alone. Someone broke into her house and raped and murdered her. They believe her. They believe she was raped and murdered the same day. Her body was found two days later. Again, this was a huge case. But they picked up and prosecuted the wrong people. And one main person, Rolando Cruz, he stayed in jail for some time until his second conviction was finally overturned in 1995. The rape murder happened in 1972. And again, it was proven that Rolando Cruz absolutely did not do it. Let's talk about the McMartin school trial in Los Angeles. A case that lasted 7 years and cost over $15 million because hundreds of parents accused McMartin daycare or day school with molesting their children. It was not true. And this again, so again, I say, do defendants have the right to a victim statement? Should defendants be able to demand that their accusers come back to court where they have to sit there and listen to whatever it is they have to say? Because, someone once told me when we were talking about someone who was released from prison, they said, well, yeah, they walked away. I don't feel too sorry for them. They walked away with $20 million because they sued the state. Okay. And this person, hey, boss, welcome. This person has spent years in prison. Does money make up for the years that you spend in prison? Does money make up for the fact that, you miss birthdays, you miss weddings, people growing up, you miss the funerals of your parents or some other loved one? So I say the same thing to people who were accused of a crime and they were innocent. The same thing that I say for people who are the perpetrator and actually did it. You destroyed someone else's life and you made it where that person is missing out. And Blunt said it helps them become reestablished in society. Yeah, it does. But for some people, that's that's hard. You have people who literally went into prison, when cell phones were not around. They come out and it's like, what is this? I mean, the world has changed a lot just in 10 years. Can you imagine what it would be like if you were gone for 20, 30? And some people cannot assimilate back into society because they're so used to prison. Then you have people who, because they were in prison, what prison has done to them, and prison may have made them a criminal. So when they come out, they are out there robbing, stealing from folks, and then they go back to prison. What do you do? Now, I personally think that if you accuse someone and you know them, you knowingly accuse someone, yeah, you can sue the state and what have you. But I say sue the person who put you there, who wrongfully accused you, and ruin their life. And when I say ruin their life, yeah, I am getting petty, and yes, I am going there. I say you sue them for every dime that they have. Take their house, take whatever it is, make them suffer. Because as we know, people are more willing to believe the negative than they are the positive. And then for the McMartin school trial, the school was shut down, closed. Now that happened in 2000. I'm sorry, that happened in 1983. In 2005, one of the children, as an adult, retracted the allegation. He said, "Never did anyone do anything to me, and I never saw them doing anything. I said a lot of things that didn't happen. I lied. Anytime I would give them an answer that they didn't like, they would ask again and encourage me to give them the answer they were looking for. I felt uncomfortable and a little ashamed that I was being dishonest. But at the same time, being the type of person I was, whatever my parents wanted me to do, I would do." And the McMartin school case was the first case where, when you had children who said they were molested, they would show the doll, and they would have the doll, and they would say point to where it is, and a lot of those children were saying things that children don't have that vocabulary at that time to say certain things. And some people believe that trial went on and on and on, retrial after retrial after retrial, because they wanted a conviction. It was always either the jury was hung or something went wrong, whatever, and they had to do a retrial. But those people were innocent. And Blunt says, "I agree." Shorty says, take it all. I mean, seriously, I say take it all. If it means that your family is ruined, oh well. What did you do to my family? Could my family walk down the street without someone yelling, "Oh, your son's a rapist," or your mother molested a child, or you raped and killed someone? And finally, let's talk about Michael Jackson. Now, I have always been one of those people who have thought that Michael Jackson was innocent, never molested any children. There may be people who think that I'm wrong. But as we know, and one thing that Katherine Jackson said was when Michael Jackson died in 2009, that August, the father of the first quote unquote victim, accuser, he killed himself. The media did not play it up at all. A lot of people didn't even know that it happened. And Katherine Jackson said that she was upset about that. And right after the suicide, and I remember when the son did this, he said, Michael never did anything to me. He never hurt me. My father encouraged me to do it. And when the Jackson family asked them for him to say it in public and out loud, he was reluctant to do so. I mean, why? The person that you accuse is dead. The father who you say made you do it is dead. Why can't you say it for the rest of my family and to clear my son's name? I don't know, y'all. So that's what I think. It's just, again, I say life is short. Life is very short. And 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, for some people, it may be a long time, but for other people, it could be a lifetime, and sometimes it is. Hey, Power Girl. So I just don't, when you accuse someone, and we're not talking about, accusing somebody, they took my cookie, they ate my lunch or whatever. I mean, when you accuse someone where you can really get them into trouble. Do people sleep at night? Some people do. Some people do. Some people they find Jesus. But it's always harder to get somebody out of prison than it is to send them to prison. And a lot of times, the prosecution, they don't want to, have to show they made a mistake. How many people have been sent to prison because of a corrupt cop? Shorty says because they'll make them look bad. Yeah, they will. They will make them look bad. But I can really give a crap about how it makes you look. I'm sitting in prison. So I'm going to play both sides here now. So do you give the person a break if they went to prison for something they didn't do, spend time in prison, got out, and turned to a life of crime? I'm not saying they murdered someone. Let's say they broke into a store. Let's say they held somebody up at gunpoint. Should the judge be more lenient on that person? Or should, what if the defense was, well, I was this nice person when I went in, but spending years in prison changed me? Is that a valid defense? Is that a valid defense for someone to say? Sure, she says, yes. And then we have a maybe from Minnesota. I mean, I don't know. There's just, and here I go with crazy's delicious word. There are so many variables.
Variables. Hey, y'all.
Shorty, Shorty. I mean, so Shorty, I mean, what do you think? Because I actually believe, if you are found innocent knowingly and someone sent you to prison, you I'm sorry. I say ruin your life because you ruined mine.
Mm-hmm. Cause you ain't catch the right one. You just want to hurry up and get somebody behind bars, but the real one out there that's doing all the messed up stuff is still out there doing what they doing. But then they take away, years of your life. You missing out on a whole bunch of stuff, and then when you get out, you be like, a lot of stuff done changed. So it's like, what can they do? All they can do is what? Say sorry, and then what? Give you back pay? That ain't nothing towards your life though. And then once you actually do something to get locked up, and then they be like, oh, you did this, this, and that. I'm like, okay, but when you first locked me up, I ain't really do nothing. I got accused for doing something I ain't really do. And then y'all actually found the person who actually did all of this. Sometimes they find them, sometimes they don't. Then they still gonna reprimand you even harder. They ain't gonna take no leniency towards you. Not at all.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Juju.
right. And welcome Juju and Angel Bear, sweet Angel Bear. So okay, so Shorty, let me ask this. In 1993, Jackson was accused of child sexual abuse by 13-year-old boy Jordan Chandler and his father Evan Chandler. Jordan said he and Jackson had engaged in acts of kissing, masturbation, and oral sex. While Jordan's mother initially told police she did not believe Jackson had molested him, her position wavered a few days later. Evan, the father, was recorded discussing his intention to pursue charges, which Jackson used to argue that he was the victim of a jealous father trying to extort money. Jackson's older sister, Latoya, accused him of being a pedophile. She later uh, retracted, saying that she had been forced to do so by her abusive husband. Um, so, Shorty, I'm going to ask you. You don't want to answer. You don't have to. But do you think Michael Jackson was guilty? Because I believe that he was innocent. And like Lou said, there's always questions around Michael Jackson.
I believe he was innocent. You want to know why? Because people do stuff like that just to extort money out of these people, like them famous rich people and stuff like that. Don't get it twisted. There's people out there that does that junk and give them hush money just to keep it on the low low. But the people who didn't do nothing like that, they do that junk just to extort them out of money. And if they don't want to do it, they're gonna sit up there and make up a bold faced lie. And be like, oh, he did this to me. He did that to me. But when they do that, that messes up somebody's life.
Okay. And in 2009, now remember Jackson passed away in 2009. FBI files on Jackson release in 2009 revealed FBI's role in the 2005 trial. So that was the second trial and the 1993 allegations, and showed that FBI found no evidence of criminal conduct on Jackson's behalf. So,
Wow.
once again, I think that I think two things about Michael Jackson. I think that he was an easy target just because of the type of person he was, and people knew how he loved children. And I also think that the second time around, like after that first trial, I'm pretty sure his family said something. I was not there. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Um, but I think that Michael made a mistake by continuing to invite children to his home. I think after
Yep.
that first time, it's like, Michael, yes, you love kids, you like helping them, you do this, you do that. Stop inviting children to your home. Don't do it unless you have even if you have a ton of people around, just don't do it. Just don't. Go visit a hospital where the paparazzi's there and everybody's following you around and nothing can happen. Go to an orphanage or something, but don't invite children to your home. That's what I think that Michael should have done. Hey, Chill, welcome.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey,
Everybody.
Chill. It's been a minute. How are you?
Hey, chill.
I'm well, actually. I'm
Good,
always
good.
good. Yeah. Um, you, I feel like these situations are typically normal. Like you get high profile cases, but then you get just regular people that go through this all the time. You know what I'm saying? I know I can name a bunch of fellas I went to school with, football players, basketball players. I mean, it's always a bunch of cases out of each. Probably you got that's just you just talking about some of them in Chicago. You know what I mean? So we had the one boy that got blamed for doing something like that. He was in high school and he was on his way to the NFL. And yeah, he got blamed for, you know, rape, and she didn't do it. It was just a black guy. She was embarrassed or something like that. Didn't want to tell her parents that she was having sex with a black guy. And then, hey, that happens. I mean, it's been happening. Things like that always happen. And it's no surprise, it's sad. But overall, the person well, number one, a lot of times they're kids too. Um, and although you might have angst towards them, they still got to learn as well. You know what I mean? I mean, you feel the need that you gotta, your parents are gonna feel like or your community or whoever feels some kind of way to where you gotta lie and put somebody in jail or in harm's way because of it. That's a problem within itself. Like and you're still making a decision as a 16, 15. I want to be based for the rest of my life on a decision, a bad decision, whether it's in favor of someone else, me or someone else or not. I don't want to be based on a decision that I made, a bad decision that I made for the rest of my life, which tends to happen. And that
Wait, 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 wait,
that's
wait, 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 wait. So you're saying that if you accuse someone when you're 16 and it sent them to prison or ruined their life, you should not, because you're 16 years old and you made a bad decision, you should not have to deal with that for the rest of your life?
oh, you're gonna have to deal with it. Period. You can't avoid that. I'm saying that I don't want that to define me though.
Okay, but the person who you accuse, a lot of times it defines them, because when you get convicted, I mean, whether you're acquitted or not, when you go look for a job, they say, have you ever been convicted of a crime? You have to
It's
say
gonna be
yes,
on your
because
record.
you were convicted. When they do a background
Oh
check,
yeah, oh
they're
yeah.
going to see that you were convicted. They're not going to care that you were first. Well, what happened? Well, you raped that girl. You said, I mean, it's like, are they really listening to, yes, but she was lying, or he did this, or that didn't happen, or whatever.
That gonna happen regardless. When it happens, it happens. My point is how you get
They don't
over it.
want to
Like
hear that.
that part, yeah, that's gonna happen regardless. What you're saying is gonna happen regardless. And I mean that can happen without it happening. I could be as people will have those biases regardless. And when you go to jail for something that even if you didn't do it, that's just gonna happen. That's just how it works. But that's the unfortunate part. We all know that's the unfortunate part. But the other tell of that is that if I'm 13, 14, 15, it's still messed up that I'm still especially if I found lying about it. Now I'm not that's just a horrible, there's no benefit to either side of that, is what I'm saying. Even if you just looking at it from both sides, just looking at it from both, it's just a horrible position to be. It's a horrible, you have to live with that after telling that lie. That's some horrible, that's a horrible weight, which is warranted, obviously, because you put it among yourself. But to have to learn it at such a young age and it define you, that's rough. I mean, because we all make mistakes. I might have killed somebody when I was 13. I might have done some stupid stuff
Well,
and I'm not that person.
killing somebody when you're 13, I mean, that's not stupid stuff. It's murder. That person's gone.
Right. I'm saying whatever horrible thing it is, it's still, I don't want it to define me, right?
Okay, all right.
The mistake. So when does a mistake like not be like not, you can't erase it. So what I'm supposed to do? Jump off the building? So what's the result? What I'm supposed to do? Put myself in jail for the rest of my life? what am I supposed to do? I mean, how, just for people can be satisfied about their redemption, about their hatred to me, because that's really what it is.
Okay,
It's
so
vicious.
okay. I'm going to answer that, but let me just read what Lou says. Lou says, hold on. He was talking about Michael. He says, I believe he was guilty. A lot of famous people are into pedophilia. Whether a lot of famous people into pedophilia or not, that does not mean that he was a pedophile. And Lou says, I don't know what kind of parent will leave their kids with a grown ass man. Well, a lot of parents leave their children with grown ass men within the family, and they are raped within their families. So a lot of people leave their children with quote unquote grown ass men or grown ass women. He slept with children who weren't his kids. You know, he did, but did he molest them? You know, so so I'm just saying. So chill, back to you. I understand what you're saying, but what I want to ask you is, do you believe in an eye for an eye? Like, if you kill somebody, you should be killed. If you rape somebody, you should be castrated or whatever.
I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in that, because, like I said, you can be in this place where there's a lot of redemption to be had in someone that makes a mistake, and a lot of people who do make those mistakes, they grow into somebody that being here, they're more useful than not. And so and I feel like, especially, it's crazy, because that's the Bible term, an eye for an eye, but it's a whole lot of forgiveness that is preached in the Bible as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
you're right. You're right.
so it's always that person's one thing where they want to quote that or reference an eye for eye when it's their one thing. But when it's their child or their son or they whatever soft spot for them, it's oh no, well. You know what I'm saying? And if which is normally is, because how can you think if your son or your daughter, who at their core, might have made a mistake, they drunk driving or something like that, or they were not in their right mind and something worse happened, and you looking like, dang man, like, you don't want your son to leave you know what I'm saying? So
So chill. Again, I understand what you're saying, but so do you tell the parent or the spouse or whomever, the children, do you tell them to get over it because my child needs to move on?
who said that?
No, I'm asking because because it sounds like, I mean, because I just want to make sure that I understand that, how long do they made a mistake, but when someone is accused of something and they didn't do it, you know, it can really screw someone up, like screw them up for a long time, or it just screws them up, period.
Period. Yeah,
Or
period.
if you kill someone, yeah, you may have been 13 when you did it, and your child may have gone to a juvie and they're out, whatever, they're trying to live their life. But what about that family who they just can't get over the death of a child? And a lot of parents get divorced after children have been killed. So so it's like
A lot of bad
you're
comes from understood.
so I mean, so what do you do? Because your child may have spent time in prison and then they're out and whatever. They're trying to rebuild their life. They found Jesus, or they're a better person and they're doing well, whatever. But every day I'm missing my kid.
Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're alcoholic, drug addict, stealing, robbing, thieving again. It's like, but either way, I get what you're saying. But my point is that, do we base our decisions on our visceral hatred or whatever we have for the situation? Like, I don't like operating like, I think that's the way that same people will criticize the world on why it is, but the reason why the world is the way it is because of that attitude, that ideology.
But
That
is
is
it an
why it is like
ideology,
that.
or is it the fact that you accuse me of something I didn't do? I spent years in
No. I
prison.
get what I'm saying. I got what I'm saying to you. That mindset is why the world is the way it is now.
But is that wrong? I mean, but is that wrong? I mean, are people justified for feeling that way? Are they justified for having that mindset?
I'm not saying that it's wrong or right thing. You don't. It's not a justification. I'm not saying that. Who knows? I'm just telling you the result. I can't tell a person if they're wrong or right, but you can tell them the result of their actions or what you feel like their actions are, or they had an intent like that. That I truly believe that attitude is why we are the same people who complain about the world are those kind of people. So they perpetuate the same thing they complain about. Because they're not that because that's the reason why the world the way that right there, that attitude is the why the world the way it is today. Period. For me, to me, that and so you got to break the cycle somewhere. No matter how much the hatred. I mean, even if you believe in God, He preaches that more than eye for eye. He preaches forgiveness, and sometimes you be like, "No, hell no." I mean, I get it. I'm not even mad at that. I'm just saying the lack of balance or the lack of or the selfishness in the world. That's all of that is. Or
Well,
you can't get over.
I would be reluctant to say that it's those people who are doing it, because I would say, well, maybe the people who are out there instigating it in the first place should be the ones that stop first, but don't say, well, yeah, it is you, because I'm sorry, I think that they're justified. So Shorty, so
yeah, crazy people gonna be crazy people or do stupid people or whatever. That's gonna do certain things. That's gonna cause that. But that the reason why that little girl is the way she is because of that attitude, that same kind of attitude, that lack of forgiveness, that lack of caring, that lack of
maybe.
Maybe, but see, if it's something terrific happened like that growing up like that, you know what I mean? That person killed that little girl father or something like that, or mother. You understand what I'm saying? Or do something to that little girl that that's the only person that they have in their life, and just boom bam, just out of nowhere, just took it from them. That person gonna have that hatred in their heart. In their heart, they gonna try to get that justified for themselves.
maybe for a moment, but then maybe not. I know plenty of people who don't wish the same thing that they like. You see it in courtrooms all the time. That hey, I don't want him to die. I don't want him to do that. I want him to learn from this experience. I want him to be better. I want him to be a light to the world. I want him, and sometimes and to think about the effect they can have in that right as well. So we always kind of look to our own, like I said, justifications for our hatred or whatever whatever call it. But they don't even think about the other side and how I can
Get
do
over
that
it though.
either.
But some people can't get past that. Some
Right, I
people,
get it. I
they
get that.
try
I'm
to
not
and they can't.
criticizing it. Right, I get it. I'm not criticizing it, but I'm saying that those actions can also determine how your life is. Like, I still don't want to let that weight get to me. Like, it's hard. I've been through some things in my life, but I still don't want it to define me. I got kids to raise. I got people that's around me. I don't want that to ever take away, like, have a hold of me. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So let me just get back to my main point here is, should defendants have victim statements?
Yeah, I don't even know how that's. I don't know it's possible at that point. Like, unless
No,
if they feel like
this is what I said was, like I said before, should the person who accused you be mandated to come to court or some meeting room somewhere? If it was a um if it was a national trial, should you be allowed to call the media, whatever? And should that person have to sit there and listen to you make your statement of what you accusing me has done to my life? Should they have to go through that?
get that though. Like when they get like released or something, they get on the press and they do that though. I know most of them do. Like especially do that.
Okay,
The
I'm
one
saying, but my question, but should the person who accused them be there? Should they?
Oh, I see.
That's my question. If I accuse you, I mean, you can get up in front of the camera and say, "Oh, I'm happy to get out," and because I'm happy to get out and stuff. And that's what most people are saying. Oh, I'm happy to have my mom and dad. But should they be? Should the person who did it to them, should they be made to be there so that victim can address their accuser and
For
say,
sure. I don't
okay.
mind that. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't even mind if they put their ass in jail. Shit, for a good amount of time too. I
So
wouldn't even
okay,
mind.
so if I spent 20 years in prison for something I didn't do, can and you accuse me, then should you have to go to prison for 20 years?
Hey, I wouldn't even mind if that was the result. I wouldn't mind. I mean, because that would probably deter somebody from doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
That would.
then so what's the difference then you, if you're okay with them going to prison for 20 years or 5 years, however long you spend in prison, what's the difference
Mhm.
from me constantly reminding you, even though you're out free walking around trying to, because you made that dumb mistake when you were 12, 16, whatever, how come I can't keep reminding you of that over and over and over when
Well, I
you're
mean, the
out?
laws are the laws, right? So laws are laws. As us, we're not enforcing the laws. It's just a law as a deterrence. So that's what I'm saying. Like as far as the result of me wanting somebody to suffer because of what they took from me, that's different. Trying to enforce law over the land and then someone's personal vendetta, completely different.
Okay. And Crazy says, yep. Lou says, hell yes. And Crazy says, if they only put me there and knew I was innocent. I mean, I'm sorry. I believe in an eye for an eye. I do. Because I think that, chill, and I understand what you're saying, this is the reason why the world is the way it is. Well, maybe if we did start doing this eye for an eye, and if you steal, you cut off your hand like they do in some of these countries where the crime rate is so low because they have laws like that. Maybe in America the crime rate wouldn't be so high. If you rape someone, you get
You're
castrated.
right.
Maybe
You're right.
maybe that's what should start, instead of saying, well, if you just forgive and the Bible says this. No, don't put it on the person. And see, and that is what I have found. It's like it's put on the person who, well, you just forgive them or move on, or how that's gonna be a weight on you. Don't make it back on me. I didn't do anything. What
Oh,
about
well, that
you?
is on you though. Won't you?
Well, no,
I mean, I'm not saying it in a
but no,
bad way.
but
I'm saying your weight.
I
That weight
mean,
is on you.
if you allow it,
Right.
if you allow it. But what I'm saying is instead of, but again, I had two
You
people
can't really
tell
help
me,
that though.
I had two people tell me, we were talking about a certain subject, and both of these people told me two separate times, two wrongs don't make a right. I said, well, what about the wrong that this person did? Oh, well, I said, no, don't put it back on me like I'm supposed to be the person, say that all of a sudden I'm supposed to be the Christ-like person and do all this. What about you? You're the person who did it in the first place. So maybe if I did chop something off, your hand, your penis, whatever, that maybe that would be a deterrent. Maybe if you did, if someone was put in prison and they spent 30 years in prison for a crime that they didn't do because a police officer lied, or my next door neighbor lied because she didn't like me or something, you go
But who
to
determines
prison.
what's the equal? What's equal? Who, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause you can rape somebody. That ain't, you don't castrate somebody because of that. That's not equal. That's different. That's not equal. It's not an eye for eye. That's an eye for a whole damn eye, leg. Ankle.
I'm just saying. And Lou said, I heard this the other day, when dogs hurt kids, they get put down. When pedophiles don't, but pedophiles don't. Maybe maybe these
That's
laws
where it
should.
becomes sticky at. Like that becomes sticky, and then ages become sticky. Like if a 10-year-old do something crazy, you're gonna cut off a little 10-year-old boy penis. Like so, it's just. And then on top of that, are people not doing what they supposed to do because they feel like they want to do it because they're supposed to do it. They're doing it because of fear of, reprimand. That's
Okay,
also a
okay,
thing
all
too.
right, true. And then Crazy says, "What if you castrate the wrong person?" I mean, you're right, but then again, what if you put the wrong person? What
No,
if you
hold
put the
on. You
wrong?
can't gloss over that.
What if you put the wrong person in prison? Which happens. There are people in prison that should not be there right now.
You
So I
can't
mean,
get
and
that back.
Crazy. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. Hey, Crazy.
So what I'm saying, it can't be across the board, is what I'm saying. It's typically case by case, and it's hard to be across the board, especially if somebody lying, because that would be crazy that I got my nuts cut off and I ain't even do it.
I mean, right.
Well,
So right,
my
and this
point-
right, and this is what I'm saying. So people, so it's like, so how do you deter people from not accusing you if you did not do anything crazy?
I guess my point.
Bro, they still go to
Wait,
jail. You can go. They got the death penalty. You know, you shoot somebody, you still can get the death penalty in certain states.
Okay, all right. Crazy. Go ahead.
So my point to that is if you put somebody innocent in jail, you have the right, you have the ability to reverse that. You cut their nuts off. There's no reversing that if you do that to the wrong person, is what I'm saying as far as like punishment goes, because you know how the system is. Now, if we had an elite system that absolutely knew for a fact that someone did something and that was the punishment, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, who am I to say one way or another? But like, that the extreme punishment, eye for eye stuff, you know, as much as people want to cry that that's in the Bible, it also says in the Bible it's completely contradictory, because you're not supposed to do things that people do unto you, because that makes you just like them. You see? So like, that's where the conflict comes in there. But as far as like, if you're if you know, look, trust me, I used to be the you go low, I go lower type person. I used to be real petty, real vindictive, real you know, stuff like that. And then, like I said, all right, like what happened to me is something did happen where I accused and punished the wrong person for something. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, so that means that this whole system is run by people that have minds of humans. They're not computers. You can't get complete facts because it just doesn't work that way.
No. I'm talking about people who knowingly accuse someone. Not you made a mistake. Not that, oh, I thought it was that person. It wasn't. I'm talking about you knowingly accuse someone and they didn't do it. You knowingly. That is what I'm talking about.
That's what I said earlier. That if you knew that, then you should face the same punishment as them.
Right. So yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, if you knowingly accuse somebody and you knew damn good well that they were innocent.
Yeah,
no, they definitely need bigger punishments for that. For real.
Yeah, I think it's just what that person, that community will choose to how they choose to operate. I don't necessarily think it's a good or bad, and that's just a decision. Me personally, I err on always redemption, or tasking them or using that person. Like, I don't want to. I just feel like you better used. I don't give a damn if it's slavery. You know what I'm saying? If you want to put their ass up to work or some shit, like, you know what I mean, for some of the stuff they did, if you just kill a person, that only if you really want to be vindictive, that ain't gonna do nothing. But they gone. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if you really want to be a victim, that's not an eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, certain people, that's not an eye for an eye. If I rape somebody or castrate somebody, or if I murder somebody,
but
I mean, you might get murdered, but then, even then, is that really eye for eye? I just got off. You got off easy. Death is easy. If you really want to get back at somebody, death is easy.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Chill, because you have a lot of people who go to the gas chamber or whatever they're going kicking and screaming, saying, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. And, you know, or I'm sorry, not that I didn't do it. I'm sorry, whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you know, so, you know,
I'm not saying it's easy, right? They're going, it's not, if you get shot and you die, they shoot somebody.
Okay, so what about what, let's see, Lou says let them get raped in jail for a while. Frankie says this is a great dialogue. It is, Frankie. Thank you. So Lou, I mean, so what do you say about that? What did you say about a known rapist? You know that he did it. No. I'm sorry. What would you say if someone accused you of a rape? Because I'm talking about the accusers now. What if someone accused you of rape, knowing damn good and well that you didn't do it? Should you have to go to jail and get raped for a while? I mean,
no, they would have to prove that if you're gonna punish somebody like that, that's the problem. That's the problem with capital punishment. That's the problem. Because there's no way, unless you got somebody on video, and I mean on video, blatantly doing something, and you, without a shadow of a doubt, right? First of all, we're not supposed to.
Okay,
we're not supposed to be the judge.
So again, I corrected myself when I said you are the person who accused that person, knowing damn good and well that they did not rape that person. Should you, the accuser, then have to go to jail and get raped?
And get that
no.
booty up?
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think that that's a proper. I mean, did the other person go to jail and have that happen to them, and then the other person,
I mean,
you
what
know what
if,
I'm saying? Because
what if they did it? I mean, if you're in prison for a while, you could be a victim of sexual assault. So
Oh well,
I'm
you could
just
be a
saying.
victim before you go to prison. Like a lot of those people that's that sick, they victims from jump. They, as a child, they was
yeah,
victims.
you could go to jail from anything and be a victim to that. To be honest, so
Well, I'm just saying. I'm talking about like a lot of people who that sick that do sick stuff. They sick people for a reason. And so that's another thing. I might be a sicko for a reason. I might have been molested, raped, then like and then I hurt people, right? And so where does it stop? We can always get back. That's
yeah,
I mean,
actually,
sure.
that's my point right there. Where does it stop? That was my original point. Like, so we keep on just we one person does this and so we do it back to them and they do it to them, and then
I
that's why
mean,
I'm
so
saying that back in the day that's how it was.
I am just saying that what would be a deterrent for people not to accuse other people
Right.
of
I get it. I get that.
accusing
A
someone
harsher punishment, but not
unjustly. So
necessarily
I
keeping them
I
in
mean,
jail.
but if they knew, okay, I'm going to accuse this man of rape here, and if I knew that my punishment was going to be, well, then you get caught lying, you gonna go to prison for 10 years. Would that be a deterrent for me not to do it, or am I just going to take my chance and say, well, I'm going to accuse him anyway?
That depends on who you are.
Okay,
I'm a
all right.
lot better. I'm just a lot better. I'm gonna make sure I get my
Listen,
shit.
that depends on who you are. Do you know there's some people that be like, oh well, but then there's other people that'll be like, because that depends on the person. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're asking questions that have massive, the same kind of variables that everything
Yes,
else
yes,
does.
yes, yes, it
Lie.
does.
I
And
can
Luke
lie
says,
and then get out of town, get out of Dodge.
uh,
I'm in 2 years they be in jail. I'm in Mexico. I'm in
Luke
Italy somewhere, living my best life.
Luke says, false accusations should get the same penalty. Shorty, you wanted to say something?
Her mic.
If you're talking, you're really low. So I don't know.
God, I hate this probably being so stupid.
Really low, Shorty. So you may want to pop out and pop back in. Let's see.
Yeah, she popped out. Out. She ain't on it no more. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What? There
Okay.
we go.
Okay. Now. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry. I was trying to fix it.
I mean, just do you? I mean, I saw that your mic was blinking on and off. I was asking, did you want to say something?
Oh, forgot what I was gonna say.
Do you want to make a comment on anything that Shorty, Chill? I'm sorry, that Chill, Crazy, or I was saying. Did you want to comment or anything people saying in the chat?
I forgot. I'm gonna just bypass that and just
Okay.
move on.
All right. All right. So and Crazy, I know I told you when the other day you weren't on the show, but I said I'm going to use Crazy's delicious word because I think variable is a delicious word to use.
I got in trouble for that. They were like, you weren't even there. And I was like, I couldn't.
Did you really? Oh boy! And I
He was
even
like, she told me it was crazy, and then I didn't see Crazy the whole show. I was like, no, I was like, I didn't tell her to do the show. They were like, she said, and I was like, no,
I mean,
no.
my goodness! Don't people listen when they're in the show? Do people not listen? Do you all not listen? Did I say and Crazy? I said her oh, good Lord! Anyway, sorry if you got in trouble for that, but I like everybody who's here, anybody who listens on a replay. I like the word variable, and I say it is a delicious word. For when Crazy first brought up the word, I like the word because it works and it fits. So
yes, because there's so many outcomes. Like, how do you put that? Like, that's where my brain. That's exactly what, because math. It's the same thing. Equation, variables, all the things, because a lot of people could say math is actually is absolute, but it's not. So there's variables in
it isn't. So
if you ask a question, you just think about 10 people in the room. every single one of them individually is going to give you a different answer because every single one of them has a different variable.
Of course. Like they say, at an accident, everybody was standing on the same corner. They all facing the same way, and they all saw six different
Yep.
things.
Stop.
So, so is there any way that? Okay, so let me ask this: when people recant, should it be something where, whether or not the recantation sounds crazy or not, that person who's in prison should automatically get a retrial? I mean, should the law be that if someone recants, that they automatically, the person
Oh,
who's
I
in
believe
prison?
that.
So whether or not the judge thinks that it makes sense or the prosecutor, doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares? Because the person who gave you the original story recanted it. I actually had this situation. I still ended up with problems because the person recanted, but they pursued it because of the original statement. And I was just like, but they said they dropped the thing and they recanted their statement. Why am I still in trouble? I don't understand. Oh, because the state picked it up. That's why, because they realized that they could prosecute. So
Okay, and then my other question is, when people get out of prison and they get their millions of dollars, should that money come from the state, or should a lien be put on someone's house? I mean, shouldn't some of that money come from the person who accused you in the first place?
Restitution, baby, restitution. Listen, the person who accused somebody and was found to be factual, that they knew that they were lying, should be absolutely partially responsible for the damages.
Of course.
100%.
Okay, so
Yep.
let's say it's a $20 million award, and let's say it's supposed to be split half and half, 10 from the state, 10 from whomever. Joe Smith can't pay his whomever, but you got your 10 million from the state or wherever. Joe Smith can't pay his. Should Joe Smith be required to go to prison?
Well, how long was I in prison? So that's what I would think. I'd be like,
okay. Let's say you're in prison for 20 years.
Well, maybe he should have a trial. How about that? Maybe he should have a trial to decide whether he should go to prison or not. What's his restitution for my damages?
Right.
Okay, so then that means that the trial should definitely have some type of a penalty. Because what if the jury says,
probation,
not,
least.
But probation for me being, I don't care if I was.
I'm just saying, I don't want to be the one to pick. Let's put it that way. So if it was me, I would be like, I want him to have a trial against people, and they would have a jury, and it's not his choice. He don't get to choose where he have a jury or not, or whatever the case may be. And because that's assault.
It is. I agree.
So why are you not on trial for something that you did that put me in jail? Now, whether they get 20 years, if I got $10 million from the state, I'm not sure I would care if they did 20 years. I would probably be like, I feel like you should get what you deserve. Now, whether that be from the actual state or, later on when you meet your maker, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, that person shouldn't get off scot-free. A lot of them do.
The person don't want that though. What if I get out and say, you know what, I learned, I was in there for something I didn't do. I learned that, I don't wish that on nobody. I don't want them to do nothing to the person.
And then that should be fine. I think that would be the choice. I think it should be the choice of the person who it was wronged, because they should be able to, because if I did something to you, you would have the option to charge me or not, right? Call the cops or not. So if someone got out, and because I'm going to tell you, I've done some things that later on, when I did some time and had punishment for other things that I didn't necessarily do, I would chalk it up to the game, is what I called it. Like for things that I probably should have been punished for but wasn't. But if it had been like an extended amount of time, now that might be different. But if it was like in some cases was like 3 months, okay, well, I probably deserved to be there for something else I did. So that's why I'm saying, like, it shouldn't be up to the state. State shouldn't be able to file charges on somebody who recants. I know, because I was caught up in a situation with that, and or at least that's how I feel. And then the person who was wronged should have the option to press charges on the people who did them wrong, because that was an assault as far as I'm concerned. And if the person that did you wrong is, because they do this now against state police, stuff like that, entities that are suable, but people should start being able to charge people that did that to them, that made a false statement. It shouldn't be a state's decision, because that's where a lot of them get off scot-free. Oh, it's a little girl, she's 16 now, she's crying, oh my God, she didn't mean it, whatever, now she's whatever. I'm just saying, there should be something.
Okay. Let me put in this. I just got a message from a friend of mine who is listening in, but they can't put anything in the chat. She just messaged me, and this is what she said. I just put in the chat. She says, listening, I can't add, there's no debtor's prison. Don't reopen that door. Put state on the hook for all the money. Joe Smith pays the state back. True. They can garnish their wages. Do you believe in what she just said?
Why though? Because the state wasn't the one. I only say no because then the state may take something. Because like Will said, what if I got out and I didn't care? If I got mine, whatever, it is what it is, I moved on, and then they're still charging that person. I think it should be up to the person who was wronged to make the decision of whether they want to press charges, and that's just how I feel about it.
Hey, Smoke, I did not see you pop in. Okay, and Smoke says, what about the cost to the state for prosecution or incarceration? The person making the false accusation affected more than just the convicted person.
True. Then the state should charge them. They should be tried. I guess my point is they should be tried for what they did. Whether the state's doing that or the person that was wrong, doesn't matter. They should be put on. They should have a trial to rectify. And if they did the state wrong, then they should be put on trial. And if they have to pay restitution, that's what a court's for. That's what it's for. It's there to make the judgment.
Well, true, but unfortunately, courts don't always.
They don't. Right. But I'm just saying that's the way it's supposed to be.
If it means that you lied on somebody, you don't have to necessarily do the court. It's just certain processes. You can have certain laws in place that this is what happens in this state if you lie on somebody. The person has to choose if they want to prosecute you, or bring up charges against you. If these charges are for sure, then this is what happens. And then they may have to have a trial on what type of sentence you get, maybe per you being a little girl or a grown man, or what I'm saying. Maybe that'd be the play, but not necessarily. Other than that, how
there's a million different ways to do it, and you're right. It could be, but see, do you guys know there are already laws like this? They're just stupid. They're non-impactful most of the time.
Well, so, I mean, and what Saturday said was filing a false statement is a crime. And again, these last two are again what my girlfriend is texting me. She says, "Why should I reach in my pocket to go to trial? That will keep people from seeking justice due." Okay, when you say I don't know what that means when you say why should you reach in your pocket to go to trial? You saying as a taxpayer or I'm not sure what you're saying there. But
personally, I don't think the taxpayers have to do shit with it. But
so I'm gonna wrap it up. Shorty, do you have any? I'll start with you. Shorty, do you have any last words of wisdom?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Y'all be good.
Thank you. Chill, you have any last words of wisdom?
Oh man, it's a good subject matter though. I mean, it sparked a good subject matter and a good debate because it's like the chicken or the egg. Because it's just a lot of feelings it provokes, right? So that's what the best conversations do. I don't think it's necessarily right or wrong, but we all got to live with ourselves in the end, right? And we just do our best. So, but yeah, good talking to y'all.
Okay. Oh, and she said as a wrong person. Okay. Girlfriend, you're gonna have to, come over here next time so you can put this stuff in the chat yourself. Okay. But thank you for listening. Crazy. I shouldn't have to pay to relitigate is what she says. I'm sorry, her messages just keep popping up on my screen. Okay, Crazy, you have any last words of wisdom?
No, I agree with Will. At the end of the day, you got to live with yourself, and that's really all that should matter. And unfortunately, we should hope that the laws and the justice system take care of the things and the people that do wrong, and they don't. But you're not supposed to take that into your own hands. You know what I'm saying? And that can only sometimes cause you more problems in the end, because hate begets hate, and that's how I feel about it.
Okay, all right. And Crazy Lady, thank you very much for listening in. All right, y'all. So, I believe in eye for an eye. So, and is it going to weigh on my conscience if I absolutely know that the person, that you blatantly accused me and I was not guilty? It's not going to weigh on me at all. So that's not going to be a weight that's on my shoulders. So I may sound cold, but sorry. But anyway, I'm going to leave me either because it's not my judgment. That's how I feel crazy. So, all right, y'all. So I am going to leave you guys with PM Dawn, Faith in You. And I appreciate Shorty, Chill, and Crazy for popping up on the panel. And here you go.
The future like the fortune tellers do, so I can't dream with you at night. Pessimism's hunger changes everything. I wish I walk with faith and not with sight, but you know with anything you do, there's 100 people bringing you down. Oh. No matter who you are, don't let them make you 'cause they'll break you. Don't let them love you 'cause they'll hate you even more. Don't win no one else,
And that was Faith in You by PM Dawn. Everyone, thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate your comments. I thought we had a good show. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for coming. Bye.